you see these first minutes where he's, he has the love-making scene with his wife, and he has the helmet on, and he actually shoots a guy from Deep Blue Sea 2, which is amazing, David. He's from the opening of Deep Blue Sea 2, the shark finner. Guys. Yeah. And so that makes me very happy as well. But do you think that this movie does start a bit slow and does leave room for people to kind of not like it right off the bat?
Yeah. So what I was getting at earlier when I said it was too subtle is that because it's purposely making fun of action movies and it's purposely being cliched, and didn't like at the beginning of the Matrix, right? They have like the green code, right? And since this isn't called out, like there is a chance that this movie is literally like just one big cliche. and so that first 20 minutes, yeah, they're a little slow until you realize that, oh, he's just doing this over and over again.
Sorry.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it until you read that quote and it mentioned it. And I was like, yeah, the beginning is kind of slow.
And I think with hindsight, it helps us because we know, Toby Kebbell dances because of the code that he writes. And they're just playing Vin Diesel in this role. I know his character has.
You mean Rock and Rolla is Toby Kebbell?
Yeah. Rocky Rolla. Have you seen Rock and Rolla, David?
Yes, but it's been so long that I can't remember it.
Oh, yeah. We said we were going to say Rock and Roll as Toby Kebbell for every time.
Or Hurricane Heists, I guess.
Hurricane Heist, Toby Kebbell. I like Rock and Roll.
But that is a highlight of sort of the first 20 minutes. And then you get more likable characters and.
Yeah, do you think that opens up room? I could see it. If you're an anti-Vinner and you see these first 20 minutes and you're like, oh, this is stupid. This is stock. Like, why? But then you kind of zone out. So when everything is explained later, you're kind of out of it already. I don't want to speak for people, but I don't know what I could have done differently. I mean, there are very talented people behind the camera on this, but what is a way that this movie could have opened with more of a bang, like with more of shots causing blood?
Maybe just shorten it.
How? What do you think?
Compress everything. Make that entrance sequence where they're going, his sort of redo over and over that they sim. Make that a bit shorter. I mean, it is a little bit. They're in love with that idea that they're putting out there, and we learn why it is the way it is later. But does it have to be that long? And the thing with his wife really isn't necessary. Like, they can make that real short because he has no connection with her later.
Later on, when he goes back, she's like, "See ya. I got a family. Peace."
It's been
no,
5
that's
years.
not your kid.
I love that line though, where she goes, "Yeah, I didn't want you gone. Like, I wanted you to stay. Like, I knew you always came home. I wanted you to stay home." Like, and then I love that she doesn't even like. I love that she doesn't have some Baxter husband that she leaves for him. She's like, "Get off my doorstep. You're weird. You're not my daughter." Like, I love how she pushes him away. So yeah, I mean, you could have cut that out. I mean, maybe the mystery could have built more throughout. But that's my thing though. Like, this is a really random story, but the Broken Lizard crew, the people responsible for Super Troopers and Club Dread and Beer Fest, their first movie was called Puddle Cruiser. They started that movie, Puddle Cruiser started really slow. So when they took it to Sundance, they took it to other markets, they realized that people weren't really into it from the beginning. So they started doing stand-up shows before it to get people primed so that the slow opening didn't bore people. I mean, obviously, Vin's not going to go on the road with Toby Kebbell and Isa Gonzalez and do like improv, Mitch Hedberg cover band.
No, Toby just shows up and does dance moves.
Listen, okay. Yeah.
I would pay for that.
I'm in a theater in Atlanta, Georgia. Toby Kebbell comes on with sandals and socks and dances for 15 minutes to the Macarena. We talked about torture songs. So I said,
you mean Hurricane Heists, Toby Kebbell.
Hurricane Heist, Toby Kebbell. Rock and Roll is Toby Kebbell. Ben-Hur's Toby Kebbell.
Lockouts, Guy Pearce.
Guy Pearce comes in and they all just dance.
That would be amazing.
And then they leave the stage and the movie starts. Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
I would do it.
David, thoughts?
I love dancing,
You got moves, man. I remember when we met you in grad school, you were called Dancing David.
Yeah. One of the 100 nicknames I had in grad school.
And when you entered class, you were always doing like really interesting moves. And one time I was like, "Hey, David, how come you never wear sneakers and you always wear like nice flats? Like just in case." And then you started moonwalking.
He wears sandals and socks because we're in Florida. Come on.
And a sweater. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Hurricane Heist Toby Kebbell looks just like he's from Florida.
It's Florida. So when it dips below 80 degrees, everyone dresses warm.
That's right.
Break out them socks.
But they still wear sweaters.
Yes.
So thinking,
they were
going back to your statement, Megan, like I do think shortening the beginning would have been better. So I think if they were more clear that like something strange was happening from the beginning, it would have been better. Because like I think they were trying to make allusions to it. So like the green, I didn't catch that until like the third time watching it, right? So like how it's all like off tinted green. But if they had also had like, I don't know,
some
like,
frame
like
rate dropping.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. The frame rate's dropping. It's or there's like a voiceover at the beginning, like plug them in, like something to make it seem like what is happening to grab your attention more.
Oh, yes. And plug him in, or like maybe the guy glitches a little bit when he's talking to him. So you're kind of
exactly
going on.
I also had a question. So at the beginning, they're like Delta 6, and that's what they call Ray in this. They're like Delta 6. Is that a reference to Rainbow Six or SEAL Team 6? Because if it's a reference to Rainbow Six, that is a subtle video game reference that went over my head multiple times.
I mean, it must, right? I mean, Dave Wilson, the director of this movie, he has a huge background. Like, he has a gigantic background in visual effects, and he also did tons of video games. So, yeah, I mean, he probably slipped that in there just to have some fun. Why not, right?
Wasn't that something they said in the commentary, or what were we watching, behind the scenes feature, where they said him and the producer were first timers in those roles, and so they would do things in a way that other people hadn't thought of it before, and they thought that was good because it was sort of, not the conventional way of thinking, and they'd figure some cool stuff out.
Yeah, they're so inexperienced. They didn't know, they weren't jaded yet of what to do. They were just kind of shooting from the hip.
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, and we were talking about this about how, like, I was looking at his background. This guy's done Star Wars. He was the cinematic director for Blur Studios. He did Star Wars: The Old Republic, Mass Effect 2, Halo Wars, Warhammer. I mean, he did Avengers: Age of Ultron. Big name, and he's still doing Star Wars stuff. So I think, yeah, I would have loved to have seen maybe. I like that a lot. The blur motion and then the video game references. I think that could have worked.
This is a good point to talk about actually the alternate ending.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up.
Yeah.
Because Megan, you said that they didn't really know what they were doing. And this movie only had a $45 million budget. And so that alternate ending, David, what are your thoughts about the pool fight?
The pool fight is not good. I'm really glad. I'm really glad they switched it out. Like watching it, I was like, oh, so I knew of the pool fight before I watched the alternate ending. And I was like, this could work. I've never seen like a fight in a pool. And it did not work at all. It's like
so not even very exciting. Yeah. I mean, I know that the graphics aren't finished yet, but just the idea of it isn't very exciting.
Like, if you put Jean-Claude Van Damme, well, he fought in Lionheart, but that pool was empty. But I think if you put, like, It Follows has a good pool fight.
I was just going to say, you love that one.
Yeah, It Follows has a great pool fight, but you can't put Vin Diesel, who's just a tank.
Well, they barely can battle each other. He uses the nanobots or the nanites to attack.
There. Yeah, and you put a slow Vin Diesel into a pool, which slows him down further.
And Sam Dalton's sort of very sadly dies. Help me.
Yeah.
No, you've been a jerk this whole movie. No one's going to help you.
He's chewing gum on his way down to the bottom of the pool.
Yeah.
Well, eating a protein bar while dropping. But
what I was thinking about the pool fight. What I was thinking about the pool fight is, like, conceptually it makes sense, because if you have an unstoppable character, how do you stop them? You drown them. Like
Unbreakable.
Unbreakable, Wolverine, you just drown them because they can't heal, right? Because they're constantly dying.
Kramer versus Kramer.
Kramer versus Kramer. I haven't seen that one. I do have to do that. But that was basically my thought behind it. I was like, oh, like drowning him makes sense. I get it. But it's such a bad scene. He didn't even do any kata that he learned from KT. Like, come on.
But we have to be grateful that it happened, because when the studio saw it, they went, ooh, no. Here's some more money. They'll make a better ending.
Note to directors. Make a terrible, I'm not going to say terrible, make a misguided ending that is not exciting at all, then show it to a studio. Then they will give you money to be like, please fix this.
I like that Bloodshot gets hurt in the real one, like that he gets broken. And then we're sort of given that nice little segue into him being healed by Wiggins, and he reunites with KT, and they sort of go on their merry way on an RV ride across the country, which is so much more of a fun and fulfilling ending.
Yeah, rather than just killing, a big time dick.
Yeah.
Wait,
and then walking out. Cool. And then and he requotes the line that Dalton says to him when he puts him to sleep every time his memory's wiped.
And no one remembers that line. So you're just sort of sitting
Yeah.
there. You had to tell me that, Meg. And you're like, Meg, you're like, Mark, he said the line. I'm like, the line? You're like, yeah, when he was eating the protein bar. I was like,
Dumbass catches on too late.
yeah, it's
I'm sorry. It's so bad. I'm sorry.
just, yeah, they're looking at each other in the pool. They're just looking at each other. And then the nano knights,
Yeah, they're not even swinging
Nanites.
fists or anything.
they just go under the water and tear up his machinery.
Mhm.
And then he drowns while eating a protein bar.
I mean, it would be a cool idea, the concept, not the pool fight, but the controlling the nanites in maybe a future movie, but not in that way.
Yeah, they failed up in these regards. But
100%.
They failed. It's true, because I really, really love that final fight scene. I know there were some complaints that looks a little CGI-y. Have you seen anything like that, like a elevator shaft on the outside of a building fight? Like, that was awesome.
and you know, that's a great point too. And yes, it does look CGI-y, but he couldn't really get the actors back, and they had to do it last minute. So I think it's fine for what it is. I love it. I think it's pretty great. And so I don't know. I've never seen an elevator fight. Have you, Megan?
Elevator fight? Not like that. I mean, there's the
Elevator
elevator
shaft
in
fight.
the elevator when, what's the Captain America movie
Oh,
with
Winter Soldier.
Crossbones?
Yeah, Winter Soldier.
But that's not the same thing at all. And then they sort of slide down the outside of a building. I was just going to look up that one in Hobbs and Shaw.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But that's more like he took a single elevator down and there were people fighting on the building, which is different.
This one works better because these guys have special powers. And the other one, Dwayne Johnson just falls out of the 50th story of a building and lands, and he's totally fine
And Jason Statham takes an elevator out and just steps out of it.
with his turtleneck.
Hmm.
Do you think he wears a turtleneck? Do you think he wears like a
You
very
lose a lot
skinny
of
chain?
heat through the neck, Mark. Okay.
Does he wear skinny chains?
That's a Letterkenny reference.
Oh, I love Letterkenny. Do you think Jason Statham drinks light beer?
I don't think Jason drinks at all.
Yeah.
You know how shredded he is?
Wait, so in the Meg, he's not drinking?
No,
That's-
not really.
That's sparkling water.
I love in the Meg that he's an alcoholic. In that movie, they're like, "You're nothing but a drunk,
He's rich.
Statham."
Well, it's like Daniel, what's his name from Daniel Wu from,
Tomb Raider.
and when he's in Tomb Raider and he's just a drunk boat captain, you're like, he's too ripped for that. No.
I'm busy. We love Tomb Raider, David.
Oh, I haven't seen it in a long time. I'm gonna take my my third bloodshot. Hold on.
Okay. Yeah. So we got one.
Is there a special recipe for that?
It's a Shirley Temple.
Are there cherries in each?
No, because the cherries that I have in my house are fancy, and I'm like, I'm not putting the fancy cherries
Oh,
in.
like-
Oh, you got some
Are they
Luxardos?
Luxardo
Yeah,
cherries?
exactly.
Those
I
are
was like,
like
I'm not-
candy.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not eating 6 fancy cherries.
Very expensive candy.
Yeah, that,
exactly.
the dollar signs going away from you as you drink them. All
Buying Godiva truffles for your cocktails.
right. So how about this? David's getting loose. These Shirley Temples are getting to him. So we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk more deleted scenes. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Movies, Films, and Flicks, where we're talking about a movie that stars Hurricane Heist, Toby Kebbell, The New Girls, Lamore Morris, Ravenous' Guy Pearce, Baby Drivers, Asa Gonzalez, and The Last Witch Hunter, Vin Diesel. The Last Witch Hunters, Vin Diesel.
Yeah, that works.
That works?
That movie. I haven't watched that in a while.
And you know, Johannes Hakur Johansson is also in The Last Witch Hunter as well.
Right. He's from what's that war movie? The one with the zombies and the monsters in World War II. Wasn't he in that movie?
Overlord.
Yes, that one.
Wait, isn't that the guy in that one is Game of Thrones dude?
I don't know.
He's the boat guy. They look the same though. Or you could be right. He's an Infinite.
This isn't Game of Thrones.
Oh wait, he's in Game of Thrones? Am I wrong? Wait, all right, we're getting this. I'm looking this up right now.
Atomic Blonde.
Oh wait, no, he's Lemon Cloak.
Okay. Oh, I know who you're thinking. You're thinking of Greyjoy.
He's in Atomic Blonde.
I have no idea.
Oh wait, he's not in The Last Witch Hunter. I'm just all over the place today.
He's in Eurovision though.
Oh yeah. Hey, wait, who's he in that one?
Johans.
He's Johannes in everything. He's Mr. Russell in Zone 414.
Okay. Anyway.
Yeah. All right. So, David, you said you had a couple of things you noticed watching
Yeah.
again. And I have one too I want to share that I love, and I think everyone's going to love it. So, what do you got?
The first question I have is really about Vin Diesel here. How much money does he spend on tank tops?
A lot. Well, he's $1 billion soldier, so they're probably provided.
He needs $1 billion
You
tank
mean
top.
personally Vin Diesel or
Vin Diesel,
his
yeah, personally
character?
Vin Diesel, because like here's the thing, like tank tops are expensive. He could like go to Old Navy and buy a 3-pack. I feel like he either spends a lot of money or no money at all.
Maybe he's sponsored.
He wears them once.
Maybe he's sponsored by Hanes or something.
Diesel